Alright, hello YouTube. We are going to reassemble the Ruger 1022 trigger group. This is the factory trigger group. I've also got another video on the BX trigger, which is slightly simpler to reassemble. This isn't too bad either, but it's a bit more fiddly in the early stages. We will start with the trigger. This is the disconnector sear pin. Then we've got the disconnector sear spring, the disconnector, and the sear. And we then take the spring the spring seated into this little recess on the sear. Slide the sear and spring into the recess on the trigger. There's a matching recess on the disconnector, which we're just going to slip on like so, and then we need to compress that spring a little and insert the pin. So let's just put that to the side for now. Then we're going to grab our trigger plunger and the trigger plunger spring. We are going to seat one into the other and then seat both into the trigger housing like so. So trigger plunger in. I like to compress these a little. Slip this guy right on through. I'm just going to pull it down ever so slightly and compress that plunger. Excellent. Now we can get to work capturing the trigger. There we go, that is the trigger captured. So the trigger now pivots neatly. Then I put a little bit of pressure onto the sear while looking down through here. And when I can see the hole, then I capture the sear with my punch like so. And now the fiddly bit is mostly done. We just now need to run the punch out. There you go. This is simpler on the BX trigger. Okay, now we're going to grab our hammer and this spring. The spring has a kink in it. That kink goes in towards the center. This hammer, you want the slot to be towards the rear of the trigger housing. We seat the spring over top the hammer like so. Then we grab our hammer pin, just get that started, slip it right on. Wait a minute, that was never the hammer pin. There was the hammer pin. And we then slip that right through like so. Next we grab the hammer spring, seat that into its hole like so, and then we compress the hammer. I like at this point to perform a couple of function checks. Number one is, does the safety work? It does. Number two is, does the trigger work? It does. Excellent. I'm still going to just lock this into place and put it on safe. That way it can't be messed with. Next we take the magazine plunger, slip it into its hole. Then we take the magazine release and slip that in to lock the plunger. And now I'm just going to pin this. I'm not going to pin it fully. I'm just going to pin it halfway. And again, function test. That works, excellent. Then we grab the bolt stop, slip that right behind like so. And pin both of those. I forgot to mention this spring needs to be pivoted back. If you didn't do that, remove the bolt stop, pivot this back, reinsert the bolt stop, and now you can pivot it up front again. Then I am simply going to compress that spring, capture it with my punch, attach the ejector, run that through like so, place the ejector into its slot, and then run the punch back out. There we go. There we go. And that is one completely reassembled trigger.